It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw. Before we get started, we want to help you save some money.
That's right, folks. Don't forget to use our promo codes to save that money. And let's start off with buckbaits.com. That's right, the brick and mortar store of Buck Baits down at Sterling Heights, Michigan at 15 and Dodge Park. Go over there. If you're on the website, buckbaits.com, use the promo code UNJ20. That will get you 20% off your order.
For those of you who are looking for Easy Cut products, make sure you go to easycutproducts.com. And when you're there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ15 off to save 15% off your order.
And let's not forget Lincoln Roan over at packermax.com. It's never too early, never too late to think about the Packer Max. Go on over to packermax.com, use the promo code UNJ25. That'll get you $25 off your order over at Packer Max Outdoors.
For those of you looking for some new firearms and firearm products, make sure you go over to the islandarmory.com. While you're there shopping, use the promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order there.
If you shot that bird of a lifetime and you want it mounted, don't forget Troublesome Creek Taxidermy. We've had them live on the show. We've talked to them. You want to get 10% off your order, go to Facebook, go to troublesome.creek.7, find their website. If you go to our website, UNJ, make sure to click on the button to download the form. You get 10% off over there using the code UNJ10.
Looking for that game call, whether it be a squirrel, whether it be goose, duck, deer, make sure you go to JPO Game Calls. Look for them at jpogamecalls.com, and while you're there shopping, use the UNJ10 promo code to save 10% off your order.
And Miller Deer Tracking, the man that seems to never sleep during deer season. Get 20% off your next deer tracking using the promo code UNJ20. Look for Miller Deer Tracking on Facebook or give him a call over at 810-240-4891.
Looking for the hottest new plastics to take on the water, whether it be hard water or soft water? Make sure you go over to southernindianabaitco.com. While there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order.
Deer Camp Coffee, folks. We drink it every night on the show. You want to try it? You can go to the brick and mortar store at 15 and Dodge Park at Deer Camp itself, or go to deercampcoffee.com. Also use our promo code UNJ10. You get 10% off your order. And don't forget, get a bag of the UNJ medium roast blend there as well.
All right, Danny, where's our live view camera look from tonight?
And this week, we are going up to western side of Michigan, up to Traverse City, where it's a balmy 35 degrees on the day before Thanksgiving.
Traverse City?
Traverse City.
Going to Traverse City tonight.
Yep, we got a live shot downtown. The street looks like it's popping pretty well. It looks like there's cars driving up and down. And, why not start off on the western side? Because I know last weekend they got hit with a little bit of snow.
A little bit of snow.
But it looks like they got it all cleared in Traverse City, so.
Yeah, looking a little Christmassy up that way.
Right?
You know? Everybody's doing their shopping, getting ready for Thanksgiving.
We are getting that Christmas thing going, but first we got to do some Thanksgiving holiday.
That's right, tomorrow.
Right?
You got the bird ready to go?
So we're celebrating actually on Sunday.
Okay.
So we're going to head multiple family puzzle.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So Gabby's got to work actually tomorrow at the hospital.
Eating a little bit on Thursday, eating a little bit on Friday, eating a little on Saturday, and having the big feast on Sunday.
Pretty much that's kind of how it's going to work out, right? So it's one of those things we just take it and we run with it. We adapt.
There you go. Shout out to Adam Wynn tonight, man. Hope you're feeling better. He's a little under the weather there.
Yes.
Our fisherman from the Up North Journal fishing crew over there. So how's the week been?
Oh, man.
2 weeks been, actually. We haven't done shows in 2 weeks.
Last week I was in the UP and doing all that fun stuff, which I was like basically living through every season there was.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's Michigan. It was classic for a Michigan week.
Okay.
In November, So we'll talk about that. Then we did pretty good. I got a report yesterday that still not seeing anything new. So they're still trying.
You still got family up at camp?
Yep, we got 5 cousins up there. They came in. The the day we were leaving.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
yeah, so big shout out to Tom Gensel out there and Tammy Delk and joining us tonight. And that's right, Mark Coleman. I will tell you what. I'm going to tell you about my hunting story.
There you go. Well, hopefully everybody's got their bird ready to go. Hopefully their bird is thawed out. That's the main thing right now. If not,
You're bumming.
you better go to a Chinese restaurant and get dinner tomorrow, because you're not going to have one. If your bird's not thawed out, it's not going to be.
For sure.
Right, that's for sure.
And Adam's kind of right. We'll actually. Well, I don't know. These temperatures are being a little squirrely. It's really nice today.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how quickly he's going to get his ice that he's wishing for.
You know, it's supposed to be in the 40s, I think, here for the next week and a half.
Yeah,
so.
it's not. I don't think we're going to get chilly cold.
Yeah.
But
Where do you want to start tonight? We got kind of a hodgepodge of things to talk about.
we got a hodgepodge. Do you want to start with me and then we'll roll through it, or you want to start how you being thankful, Thanksgiving kind of type of show?
We'll save that part for the end. But I tell you, let's.
You got some. You told me you had some things you weren't going to tell me about.
Yeah, we'll save that a little bit. But I want.
Okay.
But if you remember, 2 weeks ago, who did we talk to?
We talked to Carrie Z, and she was going to go on a hunt
With Joe Wesner.
right here in the Saginaw Bay area doing
Yeah.
some duck hunting.
Yeah, they came up, sent us a shout out. So Nancy and I, Saturday, we met them for dinner at a local establishment, halfway between Bay City and Saginaw, and we spent the evening with them catching up on the waterfowl hunt with the lady vets, and man, my stomach is still sore from all of the laughing that we did. Oh my gosh. We're going to get them back on the show. We're going to get as many of the girls as we can to talk about their experience on the big water in a layout boat in about 20-degree weather with the wind blowing.
You know, I'm sure with that conversation, it's going to be pretty fun because now none of them have done that type of hunting before.
2 of them have.
But 20-degree weather?
No, not like that.
Okay, all right, yeah, exactly. That was, you know.
Well, you know, I got up Saturday morning, and I was up in Saginaw, and the wind was blowing, it was snowing, and I looked out, and I'm like, man, that's a west wind. A west wind on the bay is not good because it blows all the water out of the river and out of the bay. And they said when they came in that morning, from that morning hunt, they had an issue trying to get in and get onto the ramp to get loaded.
Because all the water was blown out.
Because, yeah, and actually somebody was actually stuck out there in the mud.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody had
wow.
to go out and help get them out. And I think they had like probably a mud buddy or something. And was, you know, it was a mess.
Wow, that's just one of those things.
And then that evening before they came and met us for dinner, you know, the wind conditions and everything was just so horrible. They didn't want to go back out and get stranded out there, especially with it getting dark.
Oh, right.
So they chose to hit the refuge along the shore there, and they marched in breaking ice, and it took them an hour to walk 0.6 of a mile and get set up.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. They broke ice to get out there. So they were sitting in flooded corn. So, yeah. So they had 4 girls, 4 lady veterans, 1 from Wisconsin, 1 from Illinois, 1 from Kansas, and 1 from Colorado. And they shot some birds, but yeah, they had quite the experience, to say the least. So
Well, we got to get them on the show so we can hear about that experience.
that show will come with a disclaimer.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to control that one.
It's going to be off the hook, and I don't see any possible way that some language will be flying.
And you know, and that's one of the things. We do a live show, folks.
Yep.
We don't have that 30-second beeper button or whatever they have out, and
So
it's live.
with that being said, I want to give another big shout out to Todd down at
Troublesome Creek
Taxidermy.
Scott Tabor.
He is, or Scott, I'm sorry, I said Todd, but Scott. He is one of our newest supporters, and he is a veteran himself from the Marine Corps, and he donated 4 bird mounts to the girls.
He did, and can't wait. I hope to get some pictures of them when they're done, so we can see how he did.
When they get their birds back, I told them, I said, we need pictures, and we're going to get them back on the show to talk about their mounts. And I want to get Scott back on the show as well with them, so we can let them kind of talk back and forth about that whole process and how that all worked out.
Right, and that'll be awesome.
So,
hey, speaking of Thanksgiving, I want to thank you for the new chair that you gave me.
You like that?
Yeah, because thank God, because it started off like this, and luckily I can get a little higher.
Oh,
but I am moving up.
Your chair is still out in the garage.
All right.
We do have another chair to match, just like this. So yeah, I got a new used chair. It needs a little oil.
Yeah, you need a little easy cut.
Right there, some Slick It,
right?
We'll put some Slick It on it here at the end of the show. There you go. So,
but so big shout out to the lady veterans. Went out there, got some birds. Can't wait to have them on the show. Can't wait to see the mounts when they come back in.
A big shout out to Ultimate Veteran Adventures as well. Joe Wesner there, who helped get them out and up here to Saginaw Bay.
It takes a lot logistics wise, especially when you got them coming from Colorado, Kansas, Wisconsin, and
Illinois. Yeah.
None from the state.
And I did find out something else interesting, and hopefully, you don't know this yet, but hopefully we're going to get somebody on the show from an alligator rescue that's right here in Michigan.
Alligator rescue?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
I know we had bear rescue in the state.
We've got an alligator rescue.
We have an alligator rescue?
Yeah.
I didn't know we had that many alligators in the state to rescue.
There's a few. And they're at this place, and yes, it's I found that out that night at dinner. So
really,
yes, they showed me pictures.
I'm in. Is it in the lower or the upper?
Yeah,
in the lower. Okay,
it's about 2 hours from here.
Okay, but
I think we're gonna go see some alligators this year. Here in Michigan.
Nothing like going to pet an alligator.
There you go.
So, but nope. Shout out to them for a hunt well done.
I think actually I'm going to bring a toothbrush and I'm going to have you brush your teeth.
Okay.
I think they'll let you do that for a nominal fee.
Well, you're paying if I'm doing it. And we'll do it live.
There you
everybody
go.
wants a YouTube moment, right?
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, no, it was a good time. We had a good time eating them. Had a good time talking with Carrie, catching up with her. No Mark Coleman. No alligators and kayaking. So, Troublesome Creek, Speak of the Devil, they're right here. They just joined us on the show tonight. We're just talking about the mounts and the ones you donated to the girls. So, but anyway, so where are we going to go from this? I tell you what, let's take a quick break, take our first break, get it out of the way, and we'll be right back after this.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this message. Okay.
Tammy's going, yum, alligator. I don't think they're going to let us eat them.
No. But, I was like, what? An alligator rescue? The girl said, yeah, that's right here. And she's been there. She showed me some pictures. And, they had like an 8-footer there that she was helping transfer from cold storage out when they bring them out in like April, I think. Her family lives near there.
Really?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was...
That would be a heck of a field trip.
Yeah. I would like to see you wrestle an alligator.
I will do it.
Okay, you heard that here, folks. He said he would wrestle an alligator.
You only die once.
This is true. This is true. Might as well go having fun, right?
You might as well go while you're having fun, and when they interview you, you can say, he was a great guy.
There you go. All right. Welcome back. Second segment of the show. We talked a little bit about duck hunting. We talked a little bit about alligators. Now it's time to talk about some deer hunting.
Let's talk about some deer hunting. And first off, as we were in the break, I went and brought up our up-to-date list here in Michigan.
It's funny you mentioned that. Did you see me loading this earlier?
Oh, no, I didn't.
All right. So we said we are going to do this. So the night before, or actually that morning before the opener, sitting in the cold dark blind, I took a snap. And it says the 16th. That's not right. That is the total
after opening day.
Or no. That is the one that I reported. That's what that was. Okay. Makes sense. I'm like, there's no totems on that.
Right.
Now I got to look it up on my phone. Okay.
All right. So as you do that, currently as of
The reason I saved that is I want to talk about the fact that it was
Right.
so easy to report.
It was. It literally was. As of 7:46, we are up to 217,725 deer reported.
Okay. So, the morning of at 5:03 a.m., which was 2+ hours before shooting light, the total was 97,253.
Okay.
So we're just under 100,000, basically 2,500 under 100,000 deer, which I thought was a lot of deer taken during archery season.
I would think so.
You know, and then after the opening morning, I think I took another snap. Yes, that at 11 o'clock that evening, we were at 117,499. So 117,500 deer. So basically, that first morning, there was another 19, almost 20,000 deer reported. Yeah, right at 20,000.
Okay.
First morning. So now we're at what?
Now we're at 217,000.
Okay. So we're pretty much right on task for where we're normally at, 250,000.
Yeah, they said there'd be about 250,000 taken. Now, real quick, would you like to know the top 3 counties for our bucks?
Lay it on me.
Mount Calm,
Not a surprise.
Sandlack, and Jackson.
Okay, so west side, northwest side, the thumb area, and south central.
Yep. And, the 3 for antlerless, a little bit different. Newaygo, number 1.
Makes sense, northwest 12, because that was their big part of wanting to make sure that the APRs coincided with the doe harvest.
Sandlack, back in the thumb.
Back in the thumb, agricultural area.
And Lapeer, back in the thumb.
Back in the thumb.
So a lot. Oh, and just below that, Tuscaloosa. So the 3 top counties in the thumb area, top 5, are in the thumb.
Okay.
So, and it was easy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It was real easy to report them as long as you had cell service. You use the little...
You're using Starlink up where you're at, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what did it take? 2 minutes,
Maybe.
if that?
Yeah, once we did one and figured, you just had to make sure you got to the point where it said confirmation.
Right.
We were reporting 3 deer, and I reported mine. I got the confirmation because I had an account. They sent me an email.
And then you could go back from that email and log back in from that?
I think so. I haven't even tried to tell you the truth. And but yeah, you make sure you just go through all the prompts. Make sure you get to the last one where it says, I think it says submit, and you get that confirmation back.
Right.
And we can talk about that too when I dropped my deer off at the processor.
Okay.
Tim Cias is in the house.
Mr. Tim from West Virginia, what he calls the best Virginia.
Right? And it was easy. So, but like I told you, it was all 4 seasons wrapped up into a week.
Well, how'd your hunt go? Let's talk about it. You got some picks here?
I got some picks.
Okay, I'm going to throw them up here, and I'm just going to let you roll through them, okay?
All right. So, we left on a Thursday morning. My cousin picked me up. It was not too shabby. It was pretty decently warm. It was dry. We heard a little bit about some weather coming in. We didn't know if we were going to run into it or drive through it, whatever. So, as you can see here, when I'm crossing the bridge, it was cloudy, but on the lower side, it was...
you can see a little sunshine.
Right?
On the deck of the bridge.
So, you can see the sun shining on us as we cross over into the UP. And I love this bridge, folks. This is just, every time I go over it. And here we go, folks. We are crossing over into the Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It was just awesome.
You get excited like a little schoolgirl.
I do. you just, you can't, and there we are, going across US 2. Just one thing to say about US 2, yeah, it's flat. But by the time we got into the western UP, you notice the ground has kind of changed a little bit, and you're kind of starting to see a little wet.
Yeah, you get a little rain, did you?
Not yet.
Okay.
And so we were driving. We stopped at the store. We picked up some supplies. We wanted to get to the woods, get some stands set up.
What day is this?
So this is Thursday,
Okay.
the 12th.
So you're still in archery season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We wanted to take some heaters out to the blind, put out some bait, and get that all taken
Which
care
is
of.
legal in the Upper Peninsula.
And legal in the Upper Peninsula, and because T-Bone says it, if you're not baiting, you're waiting. I like that saying. So we head out to the woods, and it's not raining, but we had visitors,
Okay.
and you can see this. We're literally we literally drove the side by side out to the woods. We were out by my cousin's place, and you can see the blind on the right hand side of this picture. So I am 10 feet in the air, and lo and behold, looking down, and here comes a doe.
They're not too scared of you.
Right? I think it was the camouflage giving me away. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't see it, but I just you just. Literally, we got off the side by side, climbed up there, and she came walking in, taking a look, kind of seeing what's going on. Did a little live video with her. I got down off the stand, and
You gotta be kidding me.
no.
Wow.
So she was looking. I was looking over my shoulder.
You get that thing tied to that tree.
Right? But she came and visited me for a little while, and then we went
Was she
on.
eating out of your pocket or something?
Pretty close, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We kind of threw some sugar beets at her, and she went right to them. So she knew what was happening. So we finished up everything out in the woods for that day, and we went back to camp. Kind of got our pieces together there, made sure everything. And while we were in camp, guess what? And you've seen this happen. There's a doe standing right there, and lo and behold, she wants to come talk to us.
Wow.
So as you see, she's, and you can tell I'm walking towards her.
You got them trained to you can come up and knock on the door too?
Literally, if you hear the side by side, they probably will come walking in. So
Wow.
that was just one of those things. Threw her a carrot, and she was happy to have a carrot. But it was just one of those, you can't shoot those.
No.
Right? So, was able to get out in the blind. Now, it started raining when we got out there, putting up this stuff, and it came down. It literally was pouring. We got soaked.
Mark Coleman said that those deer thought you were one of Santa's helpers.
I don't care what they think I am. As long as I see deer, I'm happy. But and it we got into town. We saw the little bit of wetness. We got out into the woods. It started, and when we got to Brian's area there, it was just pouring rain, and it was like, oh, here we go.
Okay.
But as you can see, it was still leaves on the, it was still looking pretty fall.
Yeah, you can see the leaves on the ground. There's no snow.
Yeah, there's no snow, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was cooling down. We left down here, I think it was 35, 40. And when we got up there, it was starting to cool down. We were watching the temperature drop as we were going west.
Okay.
And it was like, oh boy, this is going to be good. And sure enough, here comes the snow, right? Starting to get those big old snowflakes happening. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Now, by this time, they had already talked about the western UP and the Superior line getting some snow.
Okay.
But we lucked out here that we did not get it. And it started getting heavier, folks.
Did you start to see more deer movement at this point? Beforehand?
A little bit. I think they were hunkered down for a little bit here because the wind was starting to shift, right? It was starting to come more out of the north for us. And it started, like I show it on the blind there. And while nothing better than using our own products out there to make sure which way the wind's coming. And that, when I go to use the wind reveal, it was coming out of the north, blowing in my right, out my left. So I was facing west, so everything was good. And I had my mitt on,
Okay.
And keeping that hand warm. I was using the crossbow. And I was trying something new. Mark Coben, I had talked with him about this, and you can see in this picture here, trying to do using the rope with over a scrape or a something of that nature. I've seen it. We've seen it. Mark's shown pictures of it. So I was trying something new.
Did you put any lure on the rope?
I sprayed some scrape stuff on it. That's what I had from buck bait. So I'm like, all right, let's just go with that and see what happens.
Did you make a scrape below?
Yep.
Okay.
I made a scrape below and just see what happens.
Did you notice anything using it?
Nothing.
Okay.
So, again, it was my first try. I've got some other ideas I would like to try with it.
Well, I know a lot of guys use the orbital land gland lure.
Yes, that's what you should be using.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any.
Okay.
So, as you can see, still brown on the ground.
Okay.
And of course, you got to have good breakfasts, right?
That's what deer camp's all about.
I know, right? Nothing like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich to start the morning off. And then from there, back out in the woods, I was in a pine tree. So what do you think I use? Pine, right? Try not to spray it in my eye. But made sure of that, and that was fun.
So you guys seen any bucks at this point?
Right here. First deer in.
Okay.
Big old spike.
All right.
I'm like, all right. So we pulled some cameras. We had, I had 2 cell cameras operating, and I added 2 more. I went out and I bought the Tacticam Reveal Pros to try.
Okay.
And they worked flawlessly, actually.
Yep.
And
Are these just regular cameras, or are they
those are cell service cameras.
Okay.
And I had 2 other cameras that were just, I pulled the cards. We had 1 buck on there that was actually a shooter buck. It was a 7-point. So we started seeing deer. I started seeing bucks. We started seeing deer instantly. It was one of those things that you look and you know what's happening. The deer are starting to move because you can see now that I've got snow on the ground.
Did you see any chasing going on?
Oh yeah. Yep. Saw some chasing, saw some does chasing bucks. It's pretty good.
Does chasing bucks. So you get off my food?
So
Or get away from my butt?
I don't know if you've ever noticed this up by you, but have you ever had a doe take a run at a buck to get him to come after her?
Never paid that much close attention. I don't think so.
Well, that's what happens up there.
You got too many does and not enough bucks.
Exactly.
It's like, come over here, big boy. Dance with me.
I've seen it more than that.
Really?
Yeah. It started a couple years ago, and it's like, and that spike you saw was one of them, and they were going after button bucks. And it's like, come on. And it's like, they would take a run at him.
I got a comment there, but I'm not going to go
Right? They would take a run at him. They would pull him off. They would go run around, get his attention. They'd go running off. More times than not, he would come back and be like, yeah, okay, that was whatever. And that's what was going on.
Wow.
It's like, really? But the bucks were cruising. As you can see here, the snow started coming in, and it got white. It was white and cold. The wind was coming out of the due north now, and it was coming right down this road, which this is a north-south road, actually, and I was waiting for my ride to come pick me up. And by Sunday, it had changed. And as you can tell, the snow flurries were happening. And here comes my ride. He's coming. And then there's also another gentleman riding behind him. So got my ride. So went there. That was the stand that was on the west 40. I switched stands. I just wanted to poke around and see what was going on.
Is that the side that I hunted last year?
That was the one, yes. That was
Okay.
That was where you hunted. Now this is the one closer to the swamp.
Okay.
And you can tell the snow has definitely picked up again. So we were playing the snow game, and of course you got to have a bacon cheese omelet.
Mark Coleman says that it looks like you guys are getting Denny Steiner type breakfast.
There's one thing my cousin likes to do is cook, and yes, sir, it was good.
You do look like you put a few pounds on here in the last week since you've been back.
I know, right? But we're seeing deer. At this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know my cousin at one time had 12 at one time coming around. So we just hung out and we're waiting for the bucks. We had little bucks. We had a little 4-point.
So you're not seeing anything that's drawing your attention just yet?
No. And you can see we're taking on snow, which was kind of nice. And we just, you just, and the sun was out finally, but you'd get those snow squalls coming through, right? And then it would dump a little bit of snow and then move on and get sunny, and then we're out there. But the does were they were having their rounds. And, it was snowing. You can see I was taking some snow on in the blind. It was like, all right.
Are you running the heater in the blind as well?
That blind I did not have the heater.
Okay.
But they got so comfortable with me there, they were bedding down right there.
Okay.
That was 40 yards away. She just bedded down, and we watched each other for a little bit. Finally, Sunday night, the 13th, my cousin connected on a doe.
You had enough, and you said finally it's time to start taking something off.
It was time we gave it a couple days, and we're like, all right, let's start flinging arrows. And 13 and 14, both of those days, the deer were very active.
Okay.
They were everywhere. So he shot a doe. We recovered it. Courtesy selfie shots. Another buck. This is a small 4-point coming in. And I couldn't take it anymore. So
just couldn't take it anymore. Had to shoot something.
I shot a doe the 14th, the morning of the 14th, out of the stand where you were. She ran about 60 yards and plopped over. So it was all good. Now, I had shot a doe the day before, and it was a perfect shot gone bad.
Okay.
Because I put it through the blind.
Okay.
And it, instead of hitting her in the shoulder, right where I wanted it, the blind kind of moved it further back, so she got hit far back.
So what was the process when this happened?
So that is like, I went down, I found the arrow right away. I'm like, okay. I looked at the arrow and I'm like, that ain't good.
So you're using crossbow and you were shooting with the scope.
Yep.
So you're looking through the scope, it looks clear, but in actuality, you're below the top bar, or the window bar.
The window bar. And I could have swore I checked that out because I'm nervous about that because I've done it before. And lo and behold, I think what I did is I pulled back a little bit just to relax a little bit.
Which changes that angle. Yep.
Thank you very much. And so I gave her some time. And then I started tracking her. I tracked her a 40 and a half.
Okay.
And she never stopped, never laid down, and it's like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get her tonight.
Right.
And the next morning, there's a little bit of snow, was kind of all covered up, so it's just like, you know what, nothing goes to waste up in the UP, trust me. So
did you see the wolves?
We did, you know what? We did not hear the wolves. We did not see the wolves. But, coming up to that story. But Monday morning, I shot mine at 8 o'clock. She didn't go far. So, lo and behold, I text my cousin Brian, tell him I shot a doe, and he goes, 5 minutes later, says he shoots a buck. He says, please hold. I'm like, all right.
Put you on hold on the cell phone.
Right, and all of a sudden, he ended up shooting a 7-point.
Okay.
Minutes after I did. Shot my doe. So I'm like, all right, did you find yours? Yep, I got mine. I said, well, I got mine. So we reconvened and changed and got down to our dragon clothes and getting dirty clothes, and we went and got them. And we throw those 2 in, which was really nice. And by the 14th at noon, we had 3 deer hanging.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I went back out the night of the 14th. Brian stayed in. I'm climbing up into his stand. I look back behind me, and guess who's there? It wasn't long before the deer had started coming back in, but we were done on the evening of the 14th. We were like, all right, we're going to sit and relax. So we had a T-bone meal.
There you go.
Right? Opening day, more snow. Everything was looking good, except the bigger bucks did not want to cooperate. We had a big 4 and a small 4 running around, but that's really all we saw. That was it. We saw a deer. We just didn't see deer to shoot. Buck baits, just show you how I was using them. Better the Hunt was out there with me. So Wednesday night is when we decided to check our deer.
Okay, because you got 3 days.
Yep. So Wednesday night, first thing we did is we noticed you needed to have your tag number, your license number.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to run down and get some pictures of our tag numbers.
That's the one thing that I did not know when I checked mine in. I had to do the same thing.
Right, exactly. It was like, But then after you get that, you just use the QR code that's on there, and it takes you right to the website.
Right.
So it's kind of really easy. And then you just ran through the questions, and we checked them in. Come back. So, walking this roads, we found some tracks. These are big tracks, folks. That's the size of my hand. It's a big paw. As my cousin was going out the one morning, he came up. He identified 5 different sets of wolf tracks.
Wow.
Right, cutting the ridge that he's going over.
Okay.
He had a good feeling. So he was out there, and he had a visitor. Mr. Coyote, did not show up. And,
He didn't get back home.
My cousin Brian pierced his nose. So it was kind of funny. He saw it probably at about 100 yards going, and then it kind of was coming in, and then there was a gunshot off in the distance, and it started to take back off. And all the while this was happening, a doe was in, and the coyote then, what it did is it button hooked back in and went into a sneak position.
Okay.
It was sneaking in on the doe. And at about 45 yards, Brian said, he had enough with you, and dropped it in its tracks.
Nice.
So why you see it in this position is because we learned how to skin them. Good old YouTube.
That's how you learn how to skin one.
We went to YouTube.
Okay.
As we were eating breakfast, we were playing the video and watching it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. So we ended up doing it, and it was pretty cool. It was, we botched the tail up a little bit. We broke it in half. But it's like...
First time.
Well, and I see the gentleman that was doing the video had a puller.
Yep, a tail puller.
Well, one was a tail puller. I see that advantage. And the other one was when he broke it down off the hind end, he had, it sounded like a winch.
Okay.
And then as he could step on the go button, and it was helping him pull it down.
Okay.
So I could definitely see that, because both Brian and I were like, and we'd go around and do what we needed to do.
Yeah, that way you don't cut the hide.
Yep. And so we took care of that. And you gotta have a posse when they're in the UP, right?
So they say.
Oh, it's so good. So then this guy showed up.
What? Is that a Fisher? Or Pine Martin?
Too big for a pine marten.
Okay. Fisher?
We think it's an otter.
An otter. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me about this because you got a creek running through the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a couple hundred yards away from a creek, and he came from the west. And I'm like, what is going on? So I flipped on the camera, and this was so cool. I've never seen one out there in the wild like this.
That is wild.
And he was going to go around me, and then all of a sudden he changed course, and he came into the bait. And he, like, looked around, and he's like, all right. Well, come to find out, he likes apples.
Okay.
So he stuck around for a little bit, looking around.
Is this the first time you saw one on your property?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen one.
Okay.
Especially up there, because I'm not even close to the creek.
Okay.
It's like, wow, you're kind of far away, but okay, I'll go with it. And he stuck around for a little while and decided to eat some, and he took some with him. He ate some, and he grabbed a couple, and he took off back going west. So it was fun to watch him come in, do his little thing. He's got one in his mouth there, and now he's going to sit there and he's going to eat it. But that was so cool. But yeah, so
you see some cool stuff out there, that's for sure.
you just never know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I tried, we think it's the otter. And there's some more video. He came back. So one of the cool things is, if you remember sitting there, you can see kind of a long ways to the west.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went west, and when he was coming back, he was trying to get to the same place. And being short, I think he was trying to navigate, right?
Okay.
So he's on the ground. So he would climb up a tree about 3 feet. He would look, and then jump down in that direction and run to the next tree. Go up about 3 feet, look, jump down, and he came right back.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. I'm like, what are you doing? And sure enough, he did that in line to come right back down to where we were.
Okay.
And he found where he wanted to go again.
Crazy.
You never see that stuff. And it was so cool. And on our last night, had to have some pops and a fire. And we enjoyed ourselves. You can see a little bit more snow in the background. Did a selfie. And then we decided to come home. And of course, it was beautiful out.
Stop.
Oh, go ahead.
Look at the sun shining through the windshield. What does that look like? Does that not look like the lower peninsula of
Looks
Michigan?
like the state of Michigan. You're right. That is pretty cool.
That's pretty wild.
We're heading to the lower. That is wild.
That's crazy.
Right? And so, look how calm the water was.
Could have kayaked that.
It was like glass.
Yeah.
That whole south side of the upper peninsula and coming in, it was glass. It was eerily glassy. Had to wear the sunglasses. Now, we did hit some weather coming back. The lower peninsula was a lot whiter.
Okay.
And we saw where people went off into the giggly weeds. And so that was our trip.
All right.
So, should we take a break? Because I got some more story here.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
All right, we're going to step outside, take our second break. We'll be right back after this.
All right, folks.
That was wild. That picture, or the sun shining through that spot of the windshield, looked just like the lower peninsula of Michigan. That's crazy. As you're getting ready to cross back into the lower peninsula.
Right?
Well, looks like you guys had a really good time up there.
Oh, man, dude. It was our 30th year.
30 years at camp.
30 years of going up to Crystal Falls.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was. It really, it truly was.
Okay, you all set?
Hold on, let me see if I can get this right.
Danny's playing Picasso over here.
Yeah, I am. Okay, let's go for it.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back. Third segment of the show. Danny's playing with pictures over here. He said he's got another story to tell.
Yeah, so we had 3 gut piles.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do with them? So we decided to dump them in the field. You know where Gabby sat?
Yep.
That first field we dumped. We turned right, went to the end. We dumped it.
You put a camera on
Put
it.
a camera on it. So we got to do this. This is gonna be cool. So we put the camera on it, and as you can see here, it's 2:06 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I had just set the camera up, and sorry folks, it's a gut pile, so there's blood and guts.
What did you do to Mildred?
2:30, I'm getting stared at and asked, what did I do to Mildred, right?
Yeah.
This is Brian's doe, so this one's asking what's going on. That's a nice doe, actually. 3:08,
Ravens.
a raven shows up,
Okay.
right? And you can start to hear them. Like, wow. Literally,
Calling in the troops.
less than 24 hours later,
Gone.
it was gone, down to just the gut contents.
Okay. No wolves, no coyotes.
None, no wolves, no coyotes. The ravens,
ravens.
did this.
Okay.
It was amazing.
So moral of the story is the Ravens take care of all that stuff.
If
If they're around.
if they're around, they will take care of it. Now, we dumped that one. That was Sunday at 2:00. I shot my doe at Monday 8:00. I saw her drop off in the distance. I can still hear the crows.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. All of a sudden, crows are getting kind of close. And I look, I can start to see them coming through the
They're
trees.
lining up on the trees.
And all of a sudden, they flew down
Yeah.
on this doe. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
You're not taking my dough.
Right? You're not going to go over there and peck its eyeballs out or whatever. But I got out of my blind, went over, made some noise, and took care of that. And we were coming out anyways at that point. But it was just amazing how fast that they got on that and just wiped it out. Now, we put 2 more gut piles there. We had, I didn't catch them on camera, and I don't know why. I think the camera might have been pointed a little high. But the next day, which would have been opening day, I think it was, because we put them in there the 14th, there was just tracks everywhere of coyotes and wolves, and
Okay.
it was just mayhem. And
They took care of business.
oh yeah, they came in and took care of business. So that was my week
In the UP.
in the UP. It was a blast. It was fun. Like I said, we had 2 cousins come up on Thursday. There was 3 more coming up on Friday. We were coming home, and unfortunately, they haven't seen anything different.
Okay.
There wasn't much shooting at all. It was very limited.
Gotcha.
So
All right.
there you go.
Let's take our last break. When we come back, I'll show you what I did when I got home, because it's something that I kind of passed on a tradition.
All right.
So we're going to step outside, take our last break, and we'll be right back after this.
Shout out to Denny Steiner, and yeah, I had some Denny Steiner breakfast.
Yeah, you guys look like you were eating good in the neighborhood up there.
Mark Coleman, my weapon of choice for gun season was a 308 Remington semi-auto.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
All right, welcome back. Last segment of the show. I got back home. I had my deer with me, and I was talking with my daughter. I was actually just going to go drop it off at the processor, just be done with it. And she's like, I'd like to teach the kids where, a little more about where food comes from, the meat aspect of it. She's teaching them, but wanted to see it in action. She says, well, why don't you just bring it back home? We'll come over, we'll help you butcher it up. I'm like, all right. So, it's a chance for to see the grandkids, them to get a little hands-on and learn a few things.
Okay, so just to bring you up to speed real quick, I took the deer to the processor.
Okay.
They did ask if we had it for the confirmation number.
Okay, so they wanted the confirmation.
Yeah.
Okay.
She asked.
right on tag.
Yeah, she asked me. Do you have that conversation? I'm like, I can go back in my email. She goes, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I said I registered them.
Yeah.
And the DNR were there as well.
Okay.
And that was DNR. And I said, he asked me where I shot him. I said, crystal falls. He goes, oh, that's out of my area. I said, they're registered though. He goes, okay, that's the main concern.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So we decided we're going to break them all down, got it all down, got the deer inside, or all the meat inside, and cut it up, clean it up, start to vacuum seal. But I really wanted to teach Ben, my oldest grandson, you know, where deer come from, what we did with the meat, how we did it, how we processed it. You know, so he started to get a little hands-on, get his hands dirty. The thing that I really wanted to teach him and impress upon him was knife work. How to use a knife safely, why we use them, how we make sure that we don't play with them, number one. The proper way to use one to cut away from yourself instead of towards yourself, and just basic handling of it. You know, we're right there real close, everybody's watching. Here I'm giving him instruction. And for once, he's actually listening to me. He is very intent, because he's thinking, cool, I'm going to get to use a knife.
Right.
But he told me, he said, Papa, I know how to use a knife. I use a butter knife to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So,
Right.
So, you know, he had an idea. But, yeah, we give him some good instruction on what to do, what not to do. And then, you know, when it came right down to it, you know, he got in there, and of course he's cutting towards my fingers as I'm holding things back.
Right.
But he's cutting away from himself. But no, he did a good job. Real proud of him. And, you know, it's just passing that tradition along.
You know, like you said, wanting to know where our food comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in this case, how does it end up on your table? This is all the preparation that you needed to do to cut it up.
Yep.
I'm assuming you had the deer hanging out in the garage or wherever, however you had it cut up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, from here to the table, use a knife, cut it up. It's going to end up in these bags.
Yep, we got to put it in the bags. We got to seal it up so we can put it in the freezer, freeze it, and then we can use it. So, and baby girl was watching intently as well.
Did she join in?
Not with a knife, she did not. But
she was watching intently.
She was watching intently, yep. So, asking a lot of questions.
There's no dumb question, and it's great that they ask questions, and you want them to ask questions.
Absolutely. You know, it's that's how we pass that tradition along to the next generation. I mean, if you don't teach them, they're never going to learn.
Well, that's it, right? You see some, you know, they see some of these videos, you know, them twirling the knife and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, well, this is how you really use a knife.
Well, you take away that curiosity, you know. It's like we need to make that trip to the rifle range now with Ben. That's probably going to happen this coming spring. You know, and start with a 22 and then start working our way up.
I am in 100% agreement that you should not hide the guns, but at an appropriate age, start letting them know that they're not toys.
Mm-hmm.
This is why.
Yep.
And, you know, you hear, unfortunately, that curiosity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I found a gun.
Yeah.
And then something bad goes.
Yep.
But if you get in front of them, you say, hey, this is a gun, not a toy.
Take that curiosity away and train them properly.
Absolutely. I am in 100% agreement with that.
You know, we teach our kids how to drive a car. We teach them how to ride a bike. We teach them all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's important and imperative, I think, to be able to take your grandkids and teach them how to use tools properly.
Right.
So
that is just, it is so important to teach proper etiquette of a knife, of a gun, a bow, broadheads.
absolutely.
Broadheads can go bad so wrong. Where's it pointing?
Yeah.
You know, like a crossbow where you're shooting it, or what, you know, you hear some of these bad things of, well, this person got shot because they thought it was another animal.
Yeah, or getting your thumb up above the string rail.
Oh, there's a good one.
You know,
Right.
take the top of your thumb off. So, but wow, this show went by quick.
It always does.
I've got a couple other pictures that I want to kind of talk
While
about real quick.
You're doing that. Yes, Mark, it is a crocheted hat by Denise. She made them for me. Where's I told you to use a 308. When was the last time bait was put in that spot prior to you getting there? That would have been
Early
October
season?
1st.
Yeah, early bow season.
Yeah. First weekend in bow season was
There you go.
when we put some bait there, and we hadn't been back up since.
So, we talked about the surveys and the mandatory deer check and all that.
Yeah.
This was put out, I believe, by the DNR as well, but it is the 2022 regular firearm deer season harvest density for November 15th. The darker the shading shows, obviously, more deer taken. So, it shows you with coloration there, and like you had talked about the high buck counties or the high doe counties.
Oh, right.
The shading, central, west central, thumb area, and Jackson County, which would be lower central. So you can see that being represented pretty well.
And look, so now here is the benefit of all this, folks. Oh, did you have problems dropping your pin where you were?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
It acted funny.
It did. It didn't want to track properly.
Okay, good. Me too.
Yeah.
It was a general area. But look how fast they got information out and can tell you
Yeah.
how now
Yeah. Exactly.
this harvest is happening.
That right there is in one day.
Yep. They got the data that fast
Yeah.
and turned it around, put it into a format that everybody can look at and go, well, we know where most of the deer are.
And then there was something else that was put out, and this was put out by Genesee County, the county that Danny and I live in here. And they said, if you want to scout, why not use deer car crash maps, density maps, to scout areas to hunt? And I thought,
Right?
it's a little different.
But
It's out of the box a little, but
absolutely.
it shows obviously where the darker it is.
The southern eastern corner there.
Yep, southeastern corner, and down the I-75 corridor, and down the US 23 corridor. So,
And I asked the girls, Kelly and Erica, I said, so what was the shooting around here like?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like opening day.
yeah, I bet.
Kelly was walking into school and shots were ablazing.
Well, something else I wanted to show here. I'm going to zoom in on this map, same map. Every of those little dots is a car accident, deer car accident. I was from afar, it doesn't look like much, but when you zoom into it, there was 1,253 total crashes, reported crashes
In Genesee
in
County.
Genesee County for deer car accidents in 2021. Yeah,
And that was one county.
one county reported.
Right. And now think about that over in your Nuegos. And now granted, Genesee County is a pretty populated county.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So,
I mean-
still, that's a lot of car deer crashes.
Absolutely.
So it would be interesting to go check out like Nuego, Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
or even
Thumb area.
go into the Thumb area.
Less population, but there's more agriculture, and there might be a higher incident.
I'm
of
sure
car
if
deer
you look
crash.
going up M59 there,
Yeah.
you'll see them.
So,
But that's a different way to think about it. Is looking where the
I thought about that. I was like, yeah, that's a little out of the box, a little different. So,
Hey.
sometimes out of the box is a little different, and it might lead you to some place to hunt that you might not otherwise think of. So,
right. So
that's
my
what
brother's on with his grandson Lucas. What's happening, Lucas?
nice.
Yeah, watching the show. Denny Steiner. When my grandson was 11, he went to help a neighbor who had killed his first deer and had no idea what to do. 11 years old.
Evan showed him how to gut it, and then after getting it home, he taught the 20-something neighbor how to cut it up,
There you go.
because that child was taught how to use a knife
Right? Exactly.
from an early age and how to take care of a deer.
I think you're right, Tammy Duck. They need to move those deer crossing signs to less trafficked areas. Absolutely.
You can put one in front of your hunting blind, and maybe it'll increase your chances.
Right, for sure.
So,
But I think all in all, it was pretty good.
well, on that note, we're going to wrap up the show. Thanksgiving's tomorrow, so hopefully everybody has a great Thanksgiving. It's been a rough week for me.
Yeah, it's we were discussing before the show, but Yeah, what has been.
Lost a couple people real close to me here. That's all I want to say about that.
Right, exactly. And is the season over for either of us? Stay tuned. We don't know. We got till January. Actually, we got longer.
It depends on where you're hunting.
Yeah. Well, we got to January 1 here in Michigan, so we get, we go out and we might go have a sit or two.
You never know. Right now, with me, work is a huge issue right now.
You got work issues, and we're into that magic Thanksgiving to Christmas sprint.
Yep. Mad dash.
Right?
So next week, we got anything lined up yet?
Not yet.
We're just kind of in coast mode right now. We got a couple ideas on things we're working on. Like I said, we're going to get the girls back that were on the veterans hunt, talk with them. But that may not happen until after the first of the year.
Probably.
Maybe even after like ATA or whatever.
Right, so.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. So with that note, we want everybody to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Remember, the season is to be thankful for what we have, the people we got around us. Same with Christmas, and remember the reason for the season.
Absolutely. You got a Thanksgiving surprise show up on your front door?
Yeah, my dad's in town.
Yes, he is. So get to enjoy him for Thanksgiving.
That's right. So other than that, well, I'll enjoy the extra overtime after I work tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So, but that'll do it for us this week, folks. So y'all take care and don't eat too much pumpkin pie. Too much.
Pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
Pumpkin. It's pecan, really. Pecan pie is the one.
That'll get you?
Pecansthebomb.com.
All right, there you go.
Absolutely. So, what's it for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm an apple pie guy.
All right.
But you throw a pumpkin in front of me, I'll eat it. Sweet potato pie, trying it, we'll see.
There you go.
I've heard.
Oh, you're trying it for the first time?
I don't ever remember having it.
You like it.
So they're like, oh, it's better than pumpkin. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, so I bought one today. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's just go from there.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's just something about pumpkin pie. I think it's more probably traditional for me, family. But we always had pecan. I mean, pecan was really, really big down south.
Right, for sure.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
But really, apple pie or Dutch apple.
There you go. All right, that's going to do us for us this week. Y'all have a great, great Thanksgiving week, and good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll be back again next week, next Wednesday night, 7:30. Y'all take care.